Howdy, Albert Moore, Blue Jacket Archery here today. We hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving, and we hope you're looking forward to a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Now today, we want to talk about a couple things here. Over the past 25 to 30 years, I've been operating and owning and operating pro shops, and during that time, we've had the privilege to shoot, to sell, and to work on nearly bows from nearly every manufacturer under the sun known to man. Some of them are good, some of them weren't, but the point is, we have shot and worked on quite literally hundreds and hundreds of different bows now. And during that time, it's enabled us, having the privilege to shoot all those bows, it has given us the opportunity to come up with some criteria that we feel makes the perfect whitetail hunting bow. And I'm going to give you some of these criteria here right now. The first thing that we want to see on a good whitetail hunting bow, and all this comes to a point here, folks. We're going to introduce something here to you in a minute. But anyhow, the first thing on this criteria, now obviously keep in mind, folks, that this criteria can be changed by you. You can add stuff to the criteria. We have about 8 different things that we like to see on a bow, but you can change it around, make up your own criteria that you're looking for. But these are some of the key components or the key criteria that we feel a good whitetail hunting bow should have. First, and they're not specifically in any order here either, because all 8 of these components to us are as equally as important as the first or the last one. So we didn't really put them in any order. Anyway, a good whitetail hunting bow, from what we believe here, should be tunable and accurate. If it's not tunable and accurate, if it's not tunable, it's not going to be accurate. So those kind of go hand in hand. All right. And secondly, we like to have that bow. We would like to have a bow that is as recoil and vibration free as possible. Now, keep in mind, this comes into a lot of what your budget is. Obviously, nobody expects a $500 bow to shoot with $1,000+ bow. Some of them will, but generally not. That's not the case. But nevertheless, in their own given price range, we like to see that bow as recoil and vibration free as possible. Now, keep it also in mind that recoil and vibration don't have as much effect on accuracy as you might think. Recoil and vibration free bows are much more fun and more comfortable to shoot, but recoil and vibration, to a point now, don't have as much effect on accuracy as you might think. In the past, I've shot some bows that literally recoiled and vibrated so bad that it would actually hurt my elbow after about 20 shots, but the thing was still tack driving accurate. So anyway, that's totally up to you what you feel. Now, next, we want to see that bow built out of quality components. All right, we don't want to see any plastic limb pockets. We don't want to see a crappy riser. The riser being the engine room of the bow. If you have a lousy designed riser on that bow, or a lousy engineered riser on that bow, it's just not going to be as shootable and as accurate and as pleasant to shoot as what it could be if that riser is designed properly. So, riser quality, good quality limb pockets, limbs, cams, good quality bearings in the cams. Quality components for the money you're spending, okay? Keep that in mind, folks. The money you're spending. Here again, nobody expects a $400 bow to be assembled with the same components as a $1,000 bow, all right? That's just the way it is. Now, next, okay, I'm going to have to lean forward and see my crib notes here, folks. Okay, mass weight. Here again, that's kind of a personal preference, but we like to see a bow that's lightweight. Okay, we don't want to see a bow that starts out weighing 5 pounds. By the time you get the dumb thing decked out, the stupid thing weighs 8 pounds, you know. So we want to start with a bow that's 4.5, 4.4, 4.3, 3.8, a lightweight bow. The lighter it is, you start with, the less mass weight you're dealing with once that bow's set up. And who wants to carry a truck door through the woods? You know what I mean? So lightweight, that's one of the criteria. Next thing is highly critical. If anything should be in the top of the list, this next criteria should be it, and that's a smooth, draw cycle. We don't want anything that stacks like crazy halfway through the draw cycle and then just boom, just dumps you back, dumps you into the valley at the back of the draw stroke. That's irritating. And sometimes when you're hunting, especially when your muscles are cold or whatever, you may not be able to get that bow back if it stacks real hard. And there's certain situations where when you draw back on a deer, you just can't rip into that bow. You have to be able to draw that bow real smooth depending on the scenario you're faced with at the time. So a smooth draw cycle is extremely critical to us. Smooth draw cycle. Now, next thing, you have to decide whether this next criteria is you have to decide where to put this one. And that's affordability. All right. Now, obviously, that's up to you to decide what's affordable and what isn't. But to us, affordability for your own pocket. Yeah, there's really nothing to say about this one. That's totally up to you to decide what's affordable and what isn't. But keep in mind, folks, I'm going to show you a bow here in a minute that is very affordable, and this son of a gun shoots extremely well. All right, now, the next thing, we want that bow to be quiet. All right. Now, I've shot some pretty lousy, noisy bows in the past. Back in the day, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, a lot of the old bows were just noisy. That's just the way they were. That's the technology they had at the time. And the way the bows were constructed and built, they were just kind of noisy. Now, noise, I've still killed a lot of deer with a noisy bow. All right, but the quieter the bow is, the better. The better. You don't really want something that sounds like a 22 going off when you're bow hunting. Not only does it scare the crap out of the deer, but if it's that loud, you could end up with the Gestapo in the green suits coming around writing tickets if they thought you're shooting with a rifle. Now that's kind of a joke, folks. No bow's as loud as a gun, but some of them in the past, they were pretty close. So quiet. We want a quiet bow. All right, without having to add a bunch of crap onto the string or whatever to get it quiet. The more crap you hang in that bowstring, the slower the speed gets. So we want that bow quiet right out of the box without adding a bunch of hooey on it to get it quiet. So quiet. Now, the last criteria, this is kind of a funny one. You want that bow to look good. People say, well, what's the looks matter? Well, let me ask you a question. You didn't marry an ugly woman, did you? Well, of course you didn't. Now, it's up to each individual to decide what's ugly and what ain't, or what looks good and what isn't, but looks is pretty critical. Why is that? Well, first off, what are you doing in that tree stand for 4 to 5, 6, 8 hours waiting for that big buck to come through? You're looking at your cotton picking bow. And who wants to look at an ugly bow all dang day? So, and I've always been of a firm belief, if you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you hunt good. If you hunt good, you're going to get your buck. So it all starts with a good-looking bow, and that's how we feel about it. Now, in all the years that we've been doing this, the last 25, 30 years, periodically, a bow comes through, or a bow comes out in the market that fulfills every one of these criteria, every single one of them. And there's a lot of bows as time goes that do fill this criteria. But here at Blue Jacket Archery, we are extremely excited about the new 2022 Elite Terrain. This bow fits every one of those criteria we just mentioned. Very tunable and accurate, very recoil and vibration free. It's assembled with quality components. Machine aluminum limb pockets. There's no plastic liners around the limbs in here like some of the big four companies use, or some of any companies use really. In this price range of bow, this bow retails between right around between the mid 6s to 7-ish, right in that ballpark. All right, so it's classified as a mid-price bow, and on today's market, that is still a very affordable bow. But some of the other companies out there are sticking a lot of plastic in the limb pockets area around the limbs. The whole pocket could be plastic. We don't want to see that. That's not a quality component. All right. So it has the quality components. It's got a very well engineered, well designed riser. All right, lightweight, folks. This bow, empty, weighs 3.8 pounds. We loaded this. We've had this bow in here for about 2 weeks. We've been tinkering and playing with it. So we know what we're talking about here. We've tinkered and played this thing now for about 2 weeks. We've shot it, we've tuned it. It's very tunable, very accurate, very recoil and vibration free in its own given price range. Quality components, lightweight. I actually took this bow and I loaded it up with a relatively not a lightweight sight. It was a Montana Black Gold Mountain Light sight, I believe. No, the Verdict Assault. The Verdict Assault. Extremely good sight, but not the lightest weight thing in the planet. Then I stuck a Limb Driver Gen 7 rest on it, a Vapor Trail Gen 7 rest on it, and I stuck an 11-inch stabilizer out the front and a 7.5-inch stabilizer out the back. With all that on there, I didn't have a quiver on it, but with all that on there, folks, this bow came in at 5.4 pounds, loaded to the teeth with all that stuff except the quiver. So it definitely covers the lightweight area. Smooth draw cycle on this thing. The draw cycle on this bow is so scary smooth, it almost borders on the weird. It is so silky, absolutely just silky smooth. So it's got that covered. Affordable, we've talked about that. In today's market, it's very affordable at a price range of somewhere between 6.5 and 7. By the first of the week, we will have that finalized. It's supposed to be $6.99 is what Elite's telling us. It retails to $6.99. Give me a call about that. Anyway, affordability's there. Quiet, whisper quiet. No excessive noise, no rattles, no bangs, no cracks, no pops. Exceptionally quiet bow for the money. It looks good. Now here again, that's up to you. But this bow is absolutely gorgeous. I don't know if there's a bow in the market that puts out a nicer finished product than what Elite's doing, especially when they can maintain these looks and this quality of finish on a bow, on a mid-price bow like this. So that's pretty much it, folks. We're very excited about this new Elite Terrain. It fills all those criterias and then some. Come on down to Blue Jacket Archery and see what hunters shoot. Until then, folks, have a great day, great weekend. Talk to you soon. Thank you.